Your mind hasn't stopped. Not for a moment. You finished the day. You sat down, and the thoughts kept going. Not about anything you can fix right now. Just running. Looping back to the same places. The conversation that still bothers you. The decision you can't seem to land on. You've tried to slow it down. You told yourself to relax. And it worked for maybe 10 seconds. You know what to do, but the mind keeps going anyway. That's the exhausting part. Not the thoughts themselves, but being trapped inside a mind that won't rest. And you're not alone in this. Buddhism has understood this pattern for a very long time. What it says about the restless mind might shift something in how you see your own. Here are 7 lessons that slowly quiet it. The Buddha once said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." Not as a warning, but as an explanation. Your mind isn't broken. It's doing exactly what an untrained mind does. And training takes time. And so does unlearning. That's where we start. Wisdom in Buddhism isn't about knowing more. It's about seeing clearly. Compassion starts with how you treat your own mind. And mindfulness is simply the practice of returning to what's actually here. These aren't grand concepts. They're small, daily moves, and they add up. Lesson 1. The mind is not your enemy. Here's what most people do when the thoughts won't stop. They fight it. They tell themselves, stop thinking, stop worrying, be present, just calm down. And the harder they push, the louder the mind gets. Buddhism has a name for this pattern. They call it the second arrow. The first arrow is the thought. Something happens, something arises, some worry surfaces. That's the first arrow. You don't always get to choose that one. The second arrow is what you do to yourself for having it. You feel anxious, and then you feel anxious about feeling anxious. Your thoughts won't slow down. And then you hate yourself for not being able to slow them down. You can't focus. And then you judge yourself for not being able to focus. That second arrow hurts more than the first. And here's the part that matters. And that's the one you're choosing. Not intentionally, but it's the part you're adding. Here's the thing about a restless mind. It's not trying to destroy you. It's trying to protect you. It's been doing that for a long time. Scanning for problems, tracking potential threats, running through every scenario. Because some part of it believes that if it stops, something bad might slip through. The solution isn't to silence it. It's to stop treating it like an enemy. When a thought comes, try this instead. Don't push it away. Don't grab onto it. Notice it. Oh, there's that thought again. That's all. No fight. No judgment. No exhausted attempt to make it stop. Just recognition. Over time, you'll find the thought loses some of its grip. Not because you defeated it, but because you stop feeding it the resistance it runs on. A mind you're no longer fighting is a mind that can begin to settle. That's lesson 1. The war with your own mind is optional. You can choose to put down that particular weapon. And the moment you do, something in the mind begins to breathe again. Lesson 2. What you resist grows. Think about what happens when you try not to think about something. Really try. Tell yourself right now, don't think about a red door. See what happens. The mind doesn't understand don't. It only understands direction. When you say, stop thinking about this, the mind goes, which thing? This? And suddenly that's the only thing filling the space. Buddhism teaches a simple practice called noting. When a thought arises, you name it. Thinking, worrying, planning, remembering, not to judge it, not to analyze where it came from. just to see it clearly for what it is. A mental event, not a truth, not an instruction you're required to follow, and not a verdict about who you are. Just something that appeared, the way sounds appear, the way sensations appear. It's there, and then it isn't. Buddhism uses the image of clouds passing through a sky. The sky doesn't chase the cloud. It doesn't try to hold it or push it out. It just holds the space, without gripping, without resistance. And the cloud moves at the only pace it knows. Your mind works the same way. There's a reason Buddhism emphasizes noting over fighting. It's not passive, it's precise. When you label a thought, you're doing something specific. You're moving from being inside the thought to being beside it, from subject to observer. That shift, as subtle as it sounds, changes your relationship to the thought completely. You are no longer the worry. You are the one noticing the worry. And the one noticing is always, by definition, separate from what it notices. That's not just a philosophical idea. It's something you can actually feel. Try it next time a thought catches you. Say it quiet, inwardly. Thinking, or worrying, or planning, and notice what happens in the moment after. Even a brief opening appears, a small gap between you and the content of the thought. That gap is the practice. That gap is where the quiet has always lived. The moment you stop resisting a thought and simply name it, something changes. The thought doesn't disappear immediately, but it loses the density it had when you were fighting it. It becomes something you're watching instead of something you're inside of. That distance is the beginning of quiet. Small at first, almost invisible, but real. And once you find it, you know how to find it again. Lesson 3, you are not your thoughts. This one is harder to feel than it is to understand. You've probably heard it before. You are not your thoughts. And in a calm moment, it makes a certain kind of sense. But in the middle of a spiral, it doesn't feel true at all. It feels like you are the spiral. Like the anxious thoughts aren't something happening in your mind. They are your mind. They are you. Here's how Buddhism explains the difference. The mind is like a river. The water is always moving. New water arriving, old water leaving. Constant motion, constant change. You are not the water. You are the riverbed. The thing that holds all of it without being swept away by any of it. Still present and unchanged by whatever passes through. The thoughts move through you, but they are not you. The Buddha said, all conditioned things are impermanent. Your thoughts are conditioned things. They arise from habits you've developed, from fears you've carried, from patterns you absorb from the people and environments around you. None of them are permanent. None of them are the final word on who you are. Not the fearful thoughts, not the critical ones, not the ones that show up late at night, telling you all the ways you've fallen short. Those are not the truth about you. They are weather. They come, they go. They feel absolutely urgent, and then, without any warning, they're gone. You are beginning to see this differently. There is a part of you that has been watching all of this, the part of you that notices the thoughts. That part is never caught inside them. It observes, it stays. And underneath all of that movement, it is always still. That is the part Buddhism is pointing to. The one who watches, not the weather passing through. When you remember that, even for a single moment, the spiral loosens. You realize you're not the thoughts. You're the awareness that sees them. And awareness doesn't spiral. Awareness just watches. Think about the last time a thought completely took over. You weren't sitting with the thought. You were inside it, becoming it. Every thought led to another thought, which led to another. And by the end, you weren't thinking about the original thing at all. You were somewhere entirely different. That's the spiral. But here's what's interesting about the spiral. There was always a part of you watching it happen. Even in the middle of it, some quiet part that noticed, this is a lot. That's awareness. That's the riverbed. Buddhism says the path back from the spiral isn't more thinking. It's recognition. Just a moment of stepping back, of noticing that you've been inside the water. That recognition alone creates separation, and separation creates choice. You don't have to think your way out. You just have to see that you went in. Lesson 4. Stillness is not emptiness. A lot of people misunderstand what it means to quiet the mind. They think it means going blank. No thoughts, no feelings, just silence, total emptiness. And when they try to sit quietly and the thoughts keep coming, they think they're failing at this. They're not. That is simply not what stillness is. Stillness, in Buddhist practice, is not the absence of thought. It's the presence of awareness. And there's a meaningful difference between those two things. A still pond doesn't mean there's nothing in the water. It means the surface is calm enough that you can actually see what's beneath. Your mind can be full of thoughts and still be quiet underneath all of them. Quiet isn't the absence of noise. It's the depth beneath the noise. Think about being in a crowded, loud room. There's sound everywhere. Conversations, movement, something playing in the background. And yet, if you get still enough inside, you can find something underneath all of it. A kind of open space, not empty, just open, calm, wide, and already here. That space hasn't gone anywhere. You've just been moving too fast to find it. Buddhist practice doesn't ask you to empty your mind. It asks you to find that depth, to touch it, even briefly. And then, when you drift from it again, to return, again and again, without frustration, without grading yourself on how long you stayed. Every time you return, you are doing the practice. Every time you find that depth again, even for a moment, you're building something real, a kind of steadiness that nothing outside you created and nothing outside you can take away. That is what this builds. Not emptiness, but depth. Here's a simple way to find that depth right now. Don't try to stop your thoughts. Don't try to clear your mind. Just ask yourself, what is aware of these thoughts? Not who is thinking them. What is noticing them? That background awareness. That's the depth. It was there before you started reading this. It will be there when you're done. It doesn't turn on and off. It doesn't get restless. It just holds. The practice isn't to create that depth. It's to notice it's already here and keep returning to it again and again. Each time you do, you're not learning something new. You're remembering something you've always had. Lesson 5. Attention is a skill you can train. Here's something most people never hear. Attention is a skill, not a personality trait. Not something you either have or you don't. A skill. And like any skill, it develops. It gets stronger the more deliberately you work with it. Buddhism has a word for this trained, collected mind. Samadhi. A mind that knows where it is. A mind that can choose what it rests on. and actually stay there. Most people's attention is completely reactive. Something happens and the mind rushes toward it. Someone says something in passing and the mind replays it for hours. A small problem arises and the mind stretches it until it fills the entire day. That's not a character flaw. That's not a sign of weakness. That's an untrained mind working exactly the way untrained minds work. Training the mind doesn't mean controlling every thought. It doesn't mean forcing yourself into some rigid state of focus. It means building one specific muscle, the muscle of return. You notice you've drifted. You come back. No drama. You drift again. You come back again. No frustration. No internal lecture about why you keep drifting. Just the return. This is what mindfulness actually is. Not a mystical state. Not something that requires a retreat or special equipment or long stretches of free time. Just this. Noticing you've gone somewhere else and choosing to come back to where you are. Every single time you do that, the muscle becomes slightly stronger. And over time, something real shifts. You find you can choose where your attention goes. Not perfectly, not in every moment, but more than before. And that more than before, accumulated over weeks and months, adds up to something that changes how you move through a day. Think about something you're already good at, something that feels natural and automatic now. It didn't start that way. You were slow at it and awkward. You had to think about every step. And then, over time, repetition changed something. The skill became easier, more available, more natural. Attention works the same way. Every time you notice you've drifted and come back, you're doing a rep. Every return is a repetition. And like any physical training, the results don't show up immediately, but they show up. After a few weeks of this, you'll notice you catch yourself drifting faster. After a few months, you'll find it easier to choose where your focus goes. Not perfectly, but more than before. And more than before is how all real change happens. You don't need a quiet life to have a quiet mind. You just need to keep practicing the return. Lesson 6. Slowing down is not falling behind. Here's the belief a restless mind runs on. If I stop, I'll miss something important. If I rest, I'll fall behind. If I let the thoughts go quiet, something will slip through. Something will get away from me. This belief feels urgent. It feels like common sense. It's not true. Buddhism teaches that a mind in constant motion is not a productive mind. It's a scattered one. There's a real difference between thinking and churning. Thinking moves somewhere. It considers, it weighs, it eventually lands. Churning goes in circles. The same worries, the same scenarios, the same loops, over and over, arriving nowhere. Most of what a restless mind does all day is churn. It isn't solving. It isn't even processing. It's spinning, staying busy enough that you don't have to feel what's underneath all the motion. But here's what actually happens when you slow down. You don't lose ground. You find it. You access clarity you couldn't reach while moving too fast. You make decisions from a steadier, more accurate place. You see what's actually in front of you instead of what the anxious mind projects onto the situation. You respond to what's real rather than reacting to what might be. Slowing down in Buddhist practice isn't about giving up. It's about seeing clearly. A mind that can pause can also see. A mind that can see can choose. That's where real forward movement comes from. Not from constant motion, but from clarity. The restless mind tells you that slowing down is dangerous. What it doesn't say is that the constant churning is what's actually costing you. The energy burned in endless repetition. The decisions made from a scattered, exhausted place. The things you miss because you were too busy spinning to notice them. Slowing down returns all of that to you. Even 5 minutes. Let the urgency settle. See what becomes visible from that quieter place. The mind in constant motion is like water that's been stirred. Everything in it floats up. Everything gets murky, and you can't see clearly through water that's still churning. But when you let it settle, even briefly, the sediment drops, the water clears, and suddenly you can see the bottom. You can see what's actually there. That is what slowing down does for the mind. It doesn't remove the problems. It gives you a clear view of them, and a clear view changes everything about how you respond. You might be surprised by how much more you can see when you stop running from the moment you're in. Slowing down isn't a retreat. It's the clearest move you can make. Lesson 7. The quiet you're looking for is already here. This is the lesson most people resist the most. The peace you're looking for is not somewhere else. It's not in the version of your life where everything finally worked out. It's not at the end of the to-do list. It's not in the future where you've finally figured out how to manage your mind. It's not when things eventually calm down. It's here, right now, underneath everything. Think about how much mental energy goes into looking for that peace. The planning, the imagining of a future version of your life where the restlessness is finally gone, where you finally feel settled. All of that looking is movement. And movement, however well-intentioned, keeps you from finding the stillness underneath. The Buddha said, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. And this isn't spiritual bypassing. This isn't asking you to pretend things are fine when they're genuinely hard. It's not a request to be grateful when you're struggling. It's something more specific than any of that. It's the recognition that the searching itself is part of the noise. Every time you think, I'll feel better when, you are telling your mind that this moment is the problem, that this moment is wrong and needs to be escaped. And the mind responds exactly as you'd expect. It works harder to fix the problem. More thoughts, more planning, more attempts to think your way out of where you are, more loops. The noise gets louder. But here's what happens when you stop searching. When you stop running from what's here and just sit with it. Something opens up, not because the thoughts disappeared or the problems resolved, but because you stopped fighting the moment you were actually in. And in that pause, something becomes visible. The quiet was underneath all along. It always is. Not out there, but here. It's not something you build toward or earn or finally arrive at. It's what's left when you stop adding to the noise. That's what these 7 lessons point toward. Not a technique to master, not a system to follow. A shift in how you hold your own mind. A shift in where you look for what you need. The peace isn't out there. It never was. It's in the practice of returning to now, again and again, as many times as it takes. And every time you return, even for a moment, you find it. Already waiting, already still, already yours. The mind you have is not broken, it's restless. And restless is something you can work with. These 7 lessons don't ask you to become a different person. They ask you to see more clearly the one you already are. These lessons don't promise to end the noise. They offer something more honest than that, a different relationship with it. a way of no longer being at war with your own mind. And from that place, quiet becomes possible. Not as an achievement, as a recognition. Let the thoughts come, name them, stop fighting them. Find the depth beneath them. Practice the return. Slow down without guilt, and trust that the quiet you've been searching for is not somewhere ahead of you. It's here, underneath everything, waiting. The 7 lessons are not steps on a ladder. They're not a checklist to complete and order. They work together, each one holding a piece of the same truth, that your mind is workable. That quiet is not something you find somewhere else. That the awareness underneath the noise has always been there, steady, waiting for you to stop long enough to notice it. You don't have to earn your way back to stillness. You just have to stop running from where you already are. If this kind of content is helping you, consider subscribing. New videos come out regularly, and each one is built to stay with you long after it ends.